Now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has withheld the international passport of the former governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa. Okowa was arrested by the anti-graft agency on November 4th, 2024, over an alleged diversion of 1.3 trillion naira derivation fund. The 1.3 trillion amounted to a 13% derivation fund from the Federation account. He was also accused of failing to render accounts of the funds, as well as another 40 billion naira he allegedly claimed he used to acquire shares in UTM floating liquefied natural gas. Meanwhile, the former chief press secretary to Governor Okowa between 2019 to 2023, Olise Ifeajika, says the allegation that the former governor allegedly diverted 1.3 trillion naira oil derivation funds is as ludicrous as it is outlandish. He further stated that Okowa's haters simply latched on to the EFCC invitation to launch a well-orchestrated propaganda campaign using their hirelings and hack writers in a section of the media. Well, joining us now from Asaba is Dr. Kingsley Emu, Secretary to the State Government of Delta State. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Emu, I think we should all just realize that all these are allegations. And allegations, until proven, the accused person is guilty. And former Governor Okowa has done well by saying, yes, he's open to investigations. But you speak for the government. Now the concern is about 1.3 trillion derivation fund. The concern is about 40 billion used to buy shares in a bank. The concern is about another 4 billion that disappeared into some investment in liquefied natural gas. As state government, in charge of the resources that are being talked about, what is the position of the Delta State government with regard to these allegations against former Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State?
Thank you, Rufai. Most of, or if not all of those allegations are pretty spurious. You can't even be talking about 1.3 trillion when the total receipt was about 2.65 trillion. So you're talking about 50% of it diverted. That's not possible. They cannot be substantiated, and they can never be substantiated. That is out of the character of Dr. Okowa, who is extremely passionate, who is a grassroots politician, who is well connected with the people, and therefore very connected with their challenges and concerned about their welfare. Certainly not true. We can't find that in our books. And I can tell you, given my vantage position here, the EFCC has been writing letters to inspect and verify some of the projects that most of these alleged funds were attached to. And I dare say that they have been very satisfactory because they are physical projects. You can feel them, you can see them. For a governor who put out over 2,000 kilometers of road and 1,400 kilometers of drains, significantly done, about 50–60% of them completed before his exit. You can't be looking for such amount of money. For a governor who set up 3 universities in the state, and they are running pretty well, you cannot say so. With over 10,500 entrants, you can't say so. With all the physical infrastructures there, you cannot say so. For a governor who invested a lot in human capital, you can't even dare say so. Over 15,000 entrepreneurs were established within the period under review, because I was an integral part of that administration. Over 250,000 direct jobs created, and about 1.5 million indirect jobs arising from the numerous interventions in those areas. So it cannot and can never be true. It can never be substantiated. We have major and humongous projects that we did within that period, and they are there for everybody to see. On UTM, certainly the biggest error, and that is the concern of this government, Sheriff's government. The concern about it is that it's a major investment in our portfolio. And FLNG is the first ever private initiative in Nigeria. The 40 billion was given out through loans. The transaction was pre-qualified by an FA, financial advisor, and S and Young were the financial advisors to that project. And with a project that has Woods and Mackenzie looking at the economics of it, and then has Technip Energies and JGC. These two organizations were responsible for the Nigerian LNG. And you are concerned is that you shouldn't even dare impugn on the integrity of that investment. That investment, yes, 40 billion, but today on paper, yes, on paper, it's over 100 billion in terms of valuation. There was a first major entry point for us, and we reaped significantly from it. How did we reap from it? Yes, it's in the offshore of Okowa. It's not on our offshore. But we have 40% total gas reserve, proven gas reserve in Nigeria. It's in Delta State.
Okay.
And we're very excited. Today,
all right, Dr. Emu.
The head office of FLNG is located in Warren.
All right.
So it cannot be.
So let's dig deeper into this, because, you know, we often hear these scenarios where a governor leaves office and then there's stories around EFCC and so forth. And in this case, it has been said, you know, emphatically that this is the work of haters and those who are working against the person of the former governor and so forth. Can you shed more light? Who are these people who are pushing this agenda, and to what end?
They are non-political jobbers. They are faceless. They are using cheap propagandists to do the job. They should be man enough or woman enough, whichever is applicable, to try and attempt to show their face. Senator Okowa has been to EFCC, and EFCC has the right to do every iota interrogation. What the people say about people is not, yes, counts, but the media trial is even the most worrisome aspect of all of these challenges. That is a governor that between 2018 to 2021, under the sifters, was awarded the best, very good overall on sifters in South-South, was awarded excellence on fiscal transparency and accountability, and was awarded very good on public expenditure. This is World Bank. This is apart from the numerous other awards that he was bestowed on him, arising from his physical discipline. That physical discipline has remained a legacy for us.
Okay, Mr. Emu, let's do it this way so that we react to line-by-line items. Yes. We all know that this letter came from Paike Clark, where he talked about the 1.7 trillion figure. You know, this petition came from Paike Clark. Yes. He said that this Paike Clark letter was saying 1.7 trillion here. Maybe this might be the petition one of them they considered or something. But in this allegation, he said the one paid to Delta State came to 1.7 trillion. Instead of paying 50% of the 1.7 trillion to the SOPADEC as provided by law, which is automatic, he now held the 13% fund, the entire money, dishing out instrumentally and approving every contract the SOPADEC had awarded. Can you respond to this? Because I'm just going through some of the things Paike Clark had written in the prior petition.
Well, we go through appropriation in awarding contracts, and we're guided by appropriation till tomorrow. The SOPADEC is a well-structured organization, and I expect them to go through due process in award of contracts. So that cannot be true. They can also run on a free will because they must be guided just to ensure that this fiscal discipline that we're pursuing or we've adhered to strictly at the state level will trickle down to all those agencies. They're absolutely an agency of government. So those appropriations are right. If you go to the oil producing areas, you will see major road constructions, bridges, riverine areas. We have only over 331 kilometers of roads in all riverine areas. In those areas, we have significant improvements in those areas, in the Yobobe, Baramatu axis, Trans-Warri, and the bridges, and all of those. So if he has alleged, he has the onus to prove that. But I think that at the end of the day, yes, it's a very responsible organization, and I'm sure they're interrogating that. They will also be bound or guided by law, and that's exactly what it is. But I do not think because Pa Ike Clark is a very respected elder. He does not involve himself in frivolous discussions. If he's misguided, that is unfortunate. But we don't, is somebody that we revere a great deal.
Dr. Emu,
Yes, please.
Governor Okowa,
Yes,
after his release from EFCC detention through his spokesperson, has said this matter is political and that it will not discourage him from supporting the administration of Governor Oberewori. As somebody who is an insider in Delta State, how political do you think this is? Because the EFCC has not done anything extraordinary. The EFCC has the powers to investigate, to invite anybody. But he made the claim that this is political. How is it political? That's another dimension that we may need to understand.
Yes, from the allegations on expenditure and the projects that most of these resources were tied to, it's obvious it's political, because diversion could come in different ways. But to say that they were taken totally and completely to build private estates and for personal gains is one wrong assertion that anybody would have made. Those are frivolous allegations. If they're saying that it was designed for the Sopadec strictly, they should get themselves aligned with the appropriation law. I think that those are the issues. They're certainly not, for me, they are strictly political. They are targeted at 2027 and targeted at impugning the personality of Okowa. A governor that grew the economy, our GDP in 2015 was at 2.9 trillion and grew that by 60% to 4.87 in 2022. It's not somebody you can impugn. We're in 2020, we're second least poor state in the country, only to Lagos. MBS report.
Well, no, doctor.
In
doctor.
2023, May.
Dr. Emo, how do you say this is linked to 2027? When even the PDP, Governor Okowa's party, is practically in disarray at the national level. Who is talking about 2027? They are talking about his record of service as governor for 8 years. Or are you saying he's been persecuted because he was a vice presidential candidate, running mate in the 2023 general elections? Be specific. Don't let's just make a blanket statement that we cannot substantiate.
I am obviously not making blanket statements. Okowa's character is impeccable. That is the target. Okowa has a good history and a good record and a good reputation countrywide. Everybody has an enemy. Worse off when you're in politics. When things happen, a lot of things can change. A lot of narratives. But everybody has his day in court. Those who are truly aggrieved should go to court and prove those allegations. It's not about mere allegations. We're not going to sit back here and say because some faceless people have embarked on a campaign of calumny to begin to say that they are political. What is not political? His service for 8 years is political. His sojourn in politics in the last 30 years is political. You are even political yourself. People accuse you for speaking the truth on television, and they say you are political. So the word political has assumed different and amorphous meaning in the Nigerian context. So clearly, yes, as a major grassroots person, Okowa is a major grassroots person and very connected to the grassroots. You can see those visits to him when he came back are not just set up or stage managed visits. So he has laid the foundation, solid foundation for us to run on. As I speak to you, over 513 road projects are on. 377 are those created by him that Governor Sheriff has inherited. Your Sheriff has also done 136 new road projects, which translates to about 332.7 kilometers of road. And then 223 kilometers of drains. We are focusing on development.
Okay,
he laid those foundations. If those 377 kilometers of roads were not road projects, were not there, and about 700 and something kilometers of length of road,
all right,
we wouldn't even have nowhere to start from.
Okay. Now, you know, in the spirit of continuing to debunk what is false and you know, clarifying, putting on the record what you deem to be fact. There are also reports that those who served under him went into hiding. In fact, you know, when you read the reports, it said that there was a lot of tension in Delta State when, you know, this news broke, because many knew that they would be implicated. So can you help us to unpack, you know, this piece of information that was shared, which says that many of those who served under him are still in hiding as we speak?
That's very strange. That's not to my knowledge. I served under him. Several other people served under him. I was Commissioner for Economic Planning. I was Chief Economic Advisor. I was central to a lot of projects, especially the UTM projects that has earned a global accord in terms of commendation coming from here. I'm not aware, and I am also not sure, because the EFCC has a way of declaring people wanted if they can't find them. Who has been declared wanted? So it's not just about people spewing stories and doing media trial. That is not the case.
Okay. I'm still reading from the Paike Clark letter. And a couple of things they said. He said he repeats that it's a mandatory requirement of the law that 50% of the 13% derivation fund accruing to Delta State must be paid in bulk to the SOPADEC and rehabilitation of all producing area roads. Therefore, that Okowa violated this sanction and provision in accordance with the SOPADEC law. He also talked about a $5 billion paid to pensioners. Then he further listed, you know, some of the companies used in taking money: Dwellings International, Runola Nigeria Oil Facility, this is the Paike Clark letter, Orion Engineering Services, Midwest Oil and Gas, Marit Walton Nigeria Limited, ND Western Limited, Chinook Global, High Tech Constructions, you know, Edekuku, Sharp Global ID, Anyoma, and everything. He said, in fact, Anyoma Petroleum Resources received regular substantial amount from derivation fund, which is changed to United States dollar. You know, that's what Paike Clark said in his letter. What's your response to all of this?
Well, all of this, EFCC is already reviewing and investigating this case. The truth will come out anytime soon. Most of those people reeled out there are well-known government contractors, and they're not in hiding. They are not in hiding. And I maintain, EFCC has not declared anybody wanted. At least if EFCC is carrying on with a major investigation of this nature, which has been on for over 4 years, EFCC should have declared some of them wanted. But they declared them wanted.
But the people also said that he didn't do a lot of projects in the state, as claimed, that there were many projects that still leave much to be desired. You know, take for instance in Delta State. I was there the other day in the night, and most of the street lights were not working in the state capital. You know, so there are many projects that people claim that was left undone. You know, in fact, I just got a message from somebody around O2 Jeremy that was talking about the fact that a lot has not been done for them in that area. And you just have the Otorogu gas plant, and they are an all-producing area. So that so much have not been done for them in that area. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Also, what Ike Clark has been saying with all of these letters. What do you say about all of this?
So, Rafai, I'm sure you know that we have a huge infrastructural decay in Nigeria. And the states are not spared because they are part of the federating areas. We cannot, in 8 years, not even as audacious as Governor Sheriff is with road infrastructure, like I've mentioned the number of projects that he has embarked on, and some that he has awarded, he will still have a lot of deficits at the end of the day. We cannot take on all the roads. We just cannot take on all the projects because we don't have resources. Our budgets are based on physical strategy paper, right? And you can only budget what you think you can receive within the fiscal year or the current fiscal year, and that's all. So for Otu Jeremy, they will get. But there are very many other roads in Otu Jeremy axis. We have a booklet that I've sent to you.
Despite the fact that Otu Jeremy has been ravaged,
all the roads.
Otu Jeremy has been ravaged by flooding consistently, very deep level flooding, and nothing has been able to do to be able to create buffers. Deep level flooding, and infrastructure, you know, constantly down. You know, even they say most of the infrastructure, even Otu Jeremy and the adjoining towns around it, that leads to where you have, I think, where the pastor Mir Shejeshu is from, and all of that all those areas, that they are problematic. That's what people are saying. Out of Otu, Jeremy.
Issues of flood is related to climate change, aggravated by climate change. Issues of flood is not within the control of the state government. State government can only ameliorate. Issues of dams being opened or dredging of the Niger not done is not within the purview of the state. Recently, we did so much to protect our people from the surging erosion, surge. Some of them flash flood. So I am convinced that all of those areas will be addressed, but not in one go.
They said there's no university in Warri. They said there's no university in Warri, that you build university in other parts. But what about Warri? Warri that is supposed to be the citadel, the cash cow. Warri that had an airport way back in the 90s, in 1991. There's no university in Warri. That's what they are saying. That why did NDC extend to Warri and that area?
I'm sure you know that university is not like secondary schools. Only in 2-3 years.
Anyway,
he walked out those 3 universities.
Dr. Emo, if you are with me.
Yes, please.
I don't think it's the responsibility of EFCC to worry whether there is a university in Warri or not. Let's stay with the EFCC subject.
Yes.
Now, you worked under Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. You have made very clear. Have you visited him? Have you spoken with him since all this developed?
Of course.
And what is his mood? How is he feeling? Does he feel he's been just unnecessarily persecuted, or is strong enough to face up to EFCC and explain himself now that his passport has been seized, considering the fact that EFCC says the issues at stake are so weighty that is considered a flight risk, or he will go to court and start dodging the EFCC too? What are we likely to see as this drama plays out?
Senator Okowa is very strong.
Hello?
Very strong.
Oh, okay.
And he will be. Senator Okowa is very strong and upbeat, very confident, because he knows that, and the world knows that, the discerning people know that 80, 90, if not all, 100% of all of those allegations are lies. There may be human errors, but it does not mean that he deliberately, if at all, did any of those things to undermine the enormous fiduciary responsibility entrusted on him. He has even spoken. He spoke to people. He spoke. His previous press secretary wrote. So it's a consistent. That's a consistent with what he feels and how he feels. And he has told me so much about that. And I know so much too about, for every document that has come through me, I know that there are positive responses towards them. So I'm very clear about it. It's just a matter of time at this report. Seizure of passport is a precautionary measure taken by EFCC. He walked himself into EFCC on invitation, not by declaration or arrest, as was alleged. The maximum they could have done would have been, he was detained overnight to complete the process of investigation, not arrest, which is a misnomer. So clearly, Okowa is a
once you are detained by any of the security agencies, it's an arrest, because you have to be granted administrative or court bail before you are released. Don't put lipstick on that. Once you are detained, you are arrested already.
Yes.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
That's it. Yeah, well, detained, yeah. So clearly, for other Deltans, other parts of Delta that has not been reached, I have just mentioned that we have Governor Sheriff is doing major, audacious projects. I don't want to talk about Warri and Julius Berger, but we have other. In Ohoro, Patani, Brutu, Bomadi, Ureli North, Ureli South, transversing 5 local government areas, 30.5 kilometers of road has been awarded. So it's going to be turn by turn, and gradually we creep into those areas to make sure that we have done that. In this year's appropriation sent to the House of Assembly, we have seen a whooping 230 billion projected, provided for road infrastructure. That tells you the premium we placed on that. And that's over close to 50% of capital budget of 583 billion that was sent to the House. So road infrastructure will remain a corner piece of this administration's project, an anchor of this administration, because it opens up the rural areas. We're also not unmindful of the decayed environments in terms of infrastructure, and we'll continue to open those areas. When you open those areas, you stem rural-urban migration. You begin to create new cities and begin to make those areas attractive, because that's where you truly have the land. For those people whose areas are under the water, a whole lot is going on. In Warri, for instance, the storm drainage started in Okowa has been finished by Governor Shell. And here, phase 2 and phase 3 are in the works. So, and when he calls his budget of physical consolidation, that's exactly what he means. Carrying on 377 road projects, adding only 136 in 18 months. And that is enormous for anybody to look at. So it's a matter of time. He has promised to do more. Governor Shell has promised to do more. And he will do, in my estimation, greater. Come to Delta. He's not somebody who runs around speaking about what he does. But I'm sure that very soon, he will grant us the privilege. The world will have the privilege to have him speak to him or his spokespeople, speak to his activities and achievements as we approach the second year in office. And I dare say it's going to be humongous.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Amos, speaking for the Delta State government in the matter of Governor Okowa and the EFCC.